back here in the garage with another video for you guys. So today I wanted to take a minute to talk about the Audi MQB platform and just a little bit about what got me interested into purchasing one of these vehicles and what features and components really drew my attention as far as a car enthusiast standpoint. So let's dive in and talk about a couple of those key points. So basically what I look at when I'm looking at cars is, okay, what do you get out of the box and what can be done with this vehicle? So for me, I kind of look at your drivetrain components. So what's your engine, transmission, are we front wheel drive, all wheel drive, rear wheel drive, and of course what's your aftermarket catalog looking like? Is there a good variety of tuning softwares? Do you have intake exhaust options? As far as are there companies consistently making a good selection of brakes, suspension, mount upgrades, anything that your aftermarket enthusiast would have on his menu as far as what needs to be done to get the car where you want it to be. So specifically on Audi Volkswagen, again, we're talking about like the MQB, so that's Mark 7 GTIs, Golf Rs, Audi A3s, Audi S3s, Audi TTs. What do those have that would be appealing for an enthusiast? So here's my big three. So number one, your turbo out of the box. So your 2.0T on these guys, I believe you're rated about 220 horsepower, about 258 torque, respectable numbers, nothing crazy. Your all-wheel drive. If you're on an S3, A3, or Golf R platform, you've got that Quattro, or in these cases, more of the Haldex base system. So all-wheel drive, turbocharged out of the box, and probably the biggest one for me is the transmission. So you've got the DSG transmission, or in Audi, it's going to be called your S-Tronic. That's a dual clutch automated manual transmission. So for me, that was my number one selling point for me on this car, because I personally don't find that there are many platforms that you can buy, for this price range that are going to give you a dual clutch, transmission out of the box. Because it just seems to me that most of those transmissions are typically reserved for more of like your upper luxury premium high performance cars. You get your Porsche, your PDKs. You've got your Mercedes AMGs, your Nissan GTRs, stuff like that. So for me, that was very attractive at this price range, being able to get into a dual clutch, because I'll probably talk about this on another video, but my biggest complaint with my Infiniti was that dreaded 7-speed automatic. I mean, that thing was just a lazy, sluggish, outdated transmission. It's just very frustrating from a enthusiast standpoint, as far as not getting those quick responsive shifts. You pull the paddle, it shifts like 300 RPM after you hit the paddle. You're just constantly fighting with the transmission. You put your foot down, torque converter doesn't want to lock, doesn't want to downshift, and it's just like, okay, I'm not going to spend money on a car making power when the transmission is not going to cooperate, right? So the way things are going now with these turbo cars, I mean, you can make so many gains just from software. These guys on a stage 1 tune, again, 220 horsepower, 258 torque. I mean, you can easily get 350, 380 torque with just intake and a tune. So again, at that price point, I mean, it's just really, there's not a lot that can compete with that. So that's kind of what attracted me to these platforms. Just having so much aftermarket support, tuning options, pretty well satisfied with what I've made so far, just being the previous list of modifications. So and just keep documenting progress, which are all these various stages. You kind of get a little bit of the best of both worlds. You get a luxury 4-door sedan that's enthusiast compatible. So that's where I'm at. So enough rambling. We'll go ahead and end the video there. Keep you guys updated with upcoming projects with this year, and we'll go from there.